I found out about my wife's infidelity on the TV news. Andrew and Joan Dennison lived in Brentwood, Essex, in the east of England. No children. They rented a house. Joanna worked for a well-known public relations company based in central London. Joanna's boss, Stephen Robart, is a partner in the company, and his wife, Anne, is the daughter of the senior partner. It was a Wednesday evening. Andrew and Joanna were having dinner at home. "Don't forget I'm going on a 2-day company course next week," Joanna said. "I'll be going to work on Monday as usual, and I'll be staying overnight at the Standard Hotel on Monday and Tuesday to be ready for the course to start at 8 a.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then on Wednesday evening I'll come home after the course is over." "Okay," Andrew said. "I haven't forgotten. I'd prefer you to be home with me every night, but I know what the morning commute is like in London. Staying there is the only way to guarantee you'll be there on time." "Yes, I'm sorry too, darling. But it's important to my career development that I attend courses. Maybe we could go out for a romantic dinner next Saturday, and then I can make it up to you when we get home," she said with a warm smile. "Yes, I'd love to," he replied. "I'll make a reservation somewhere." The following Monday at 5 o'clock in the evening, Andrew was sitting at home watching the news on the television, waiting for a pre-prepared dinner to cook in the oven. He wasn't particularly interested in the news until he saw a politician being interviewed on the steps of the hotel where Joanna was staying. The interview was taking place in the early evening of the same day. As Andrew watched, he saw Joanna, who had just gotten out of a cab and was heading towards the steps of the hotel. As Andrew watched his wife with interest, a man walked down the hotel steps towards her. They hugged and kissed and then, hand in hand, walked up the steps to the hotel. Andrew was stunned for a moment and then angry. His beloved wife was cheating on him at the hotel where her course was being held, if indeed it was a course. Joanna told him she was going on the course with Tara, one of the girls who worked for the same company. Tara and his wife were friends outside of work and also worked at the same company, and Andrew had met her once or twice. He looked in the phone book and found Tara's number. He dialed the number and was answered by a man, presumably Tara's husband. Andrew explained that he was Joanna's husband and asked if Tara had been on the company course with Joanna. "No," the man replied. "Tara's not on any course. I'm afraid she's away at the moment, taking the children away from their mother. She will be back soon. Can I give her a message or ask her to call you?" Andrew replied that no thanks, it didn't matter. However, a few minutes later, Tara called. "My husband said you called. Did you want something?" Andrew replied, "I was told that you and Joanna were going to go on a course together at the Standard Hotel. Any change of plans?" "Oh, well, I couldn't go at the last minute," Tara said, clearly upset. "Well, I saw her on TV in the background being interviewed outside her hotel," Andrew said. "But she was met by a man, and they seemed very friendly, too friendly." "Really?" Tara said. "What do you mean?" "Well," Andrew continued, "they kissed like lovers and then walked hand in hand to the hotel. I'd say that was a little too friendly, wouldn't you?" "Oh, dear. You saw them," Tara sighed. "So you know? I told her it would end in tears, but she'll do it." "Will do what?" asked Andrew. "I promised I wouldn't tell anyone," she said. "But since you know something's up, I'd better tell you that she's dating Stephen Robart, her boss, who is one of the partners at the agency. They've been having an affair for a few months now, but I'm not sure if they've been doing anything other than kissing and hugging. They've been getting together during lunch and kissing and fondling, but tonight and tomorrow they are definitely planning on hooking up. I told her she was being silly, but he's turned her head with his attention and promised her a promotion." Andrew thanked her for her candor and said he wouldn't let Joanna know that she had told him what was going on. What to do next? Andrew decided that he needed to be where the action was. He called the hotel and asked if they had a room available for tonight and tomorrow. The receptionist replied that yes, there was a room available. He was lucky they weren't too busy this week. He booked the room and quickly dressed in a business suit so as not to look out of place in the hotel. After putting some underwear, a couple of shirts, a casual jacket, and pants in his suitcase, He hailed a cab to take him to Brentwood Station. The train traveled quickly to Liverpool Street Station, stopping only at Stratford International on the way. Arriving at Liverpool Street, he took a cab and drove to the hotel. It had only been an hour and 20 minutes since he had left the house, and 2 hours since he had seen his wife on television meeting her lover. At the hotel, he checked in at the front desk. "Has Mrs. Dennison checked in yet?" he asked. The desk clerk checked and replied, "We have no reservation for Mrs. Dennison, sir." "What about Mr. and Mrs. Robart?" he asked. "I'm supposed to meet them for dinner." "Oh, yes, they checked in this afternoon. I remember them, a nice couple, very much in love." She smiled. "Would you like me to tell them you've arrived? Would you like me to make a reservation for you in the dining room?" He knew asking for their room number would be a waste of time. "No thanks," he said. "They said they'd arrange it themselves. I'll meet them at the bar later." Taking the key card, he headed for his room. He called his wife on his cell phone, but the call went to voicemail. He texted her and asked how the class was going. Had she learned anything new or any new techniques? He asked her to call him when she was free. After changing out of his suit and putting on a casual jacket and slacks and a fresh shirt and tie, he decided to go to the bar and get a drink to think about what he could do once he was on the scene. He pushed his anger to the back of his mind. Now he needed to think logically about how to find the cheating couple and how to handle the situation when he found them. He realized that going to their room was pointless, even if he had a room. They had all day to have sex to their heart's content, and they were unlikely to let him in if he knocked on the door. The hotel bar was attached to the restaurant. He asked for a large whiskey and made his way to a table with a padded chair, close to the bar, but far enough away that he wouldn't be noticed unless someone was looking for him. As he sipped his drink, wondering how he could get to his wife and her boyfriend, they entered the room. They went straight to the bar. Joanna sat down on a bar stool, and the boyfriend ordered drinks. Joanna was wearing a black dress that Andrew had never seen before. It was tight-fitting and emphasized her good figure and long legs. The deep cleavage left no room for imagination. Her hair was styled in a sophisticated, slightly unkempt style. Dark-colored stockings and black high-heeled shoes completed the look. They didn't look in his direction, so Joanna didn't notice him sitting there. He was leaning back in his chair, so that his face was hidden by the wings on the backrest. They touched each other lovingly, and her companion kissed her while they waited for their drinks to be served. Andrew heard the guy tell the bartender that they had a reservation at the restaurant and asked him to bring the drinks there. The bartender asked if they wanted the drinks to be charged to their room, and the guy answered in the affirmative. The couple then walked to the dining area to their table, which was out of sight of the bar. Andrew got up from his chair and walked over to the bar. The bartender approached him. "This is very important to me," Andrew said to the bartender. "I'll give you £20 if you tell me which room this man has just billed for drinks." The barman looked at him and saw the pleading in his eyes. He guessed it was probably a private detective or even a cheating husband, he thought. "I might get in trouble if I told you," he said, "but I'll do it for £50. Andrew handed over the £50. "Number 301, said the barman. "Mr. and Mrs. Robart." Andrew went up to the third floor. Room 301 was next to the stairs at the end of the corridor. The elevators were in the center of the hallway. He could stay on the landing and watch them go back to his room from the elevator. His own room was a floor above, on the 405. He returned to the bar and ordered another drink. He found a vacant seat from which he could watch the guests entering or leaving the dining room and not be seen unless he was very lucky. An hour and a half later, after eating the club sandwich he had ordered from the bar and washing it down with another drink, he spotted the oblivious couple leaving the restaurant. They lingered briefly at the bar, then exited and headed for the elevators. As hubby got ready to leave and headed for the stairs, the bartender shouted to him that the guy had ordered a bottle of champagne to be delivered to their room. Andrew rushed up the stairs, hoping to get to the third floor before they did, but when he got to the door to the third floor, He was in time to see them enter the room. He didn't have a plan, but if he got to the third floor before they did, he would probably try to follow them to the door, hoping they were too engrossed in each other to notice him, and then he could sneak up behind them and run into them. As he stood on the landing wondering what he should do now, his cell phone rang. Checking it, he found a message from his wife saying that the course was hard work, that she had had a tiring day and was going to go to bed early and would call him after hours tomorrow. He felt the rage rising in him again. As his composure began to boil over, he saw a waiter emerge from the elevator with a tray containing a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses. An idea suddenly popped into his head. Assuming all the rooms were virtually the same as his own, there would be a small vestibule with a bathroom and closet in front of the outer door, and beyond that, an inner door to the room itself. If he was lucky, and the waiter and whoever opened the door for them weren't too observant, he could sneak in for a champagne delivery. Andrew quickly stepped out into the hallway and followed about 12 feet behind the waiter. When the waiter stopped to knock on the door of room 301, he stood in front of the door on the other side of the hallway and pretended to insert his key card into the lock. The door to the room opened, and the waiter said, "Your champagne, sir." "Bring it, Robart," he said, and turned back to the room. Andrew quickly ran to the room door before it could close behind the waiter. In many hotels, the hydraulic door closers always hesitated before closing the door completely, and so it was in this case. Quickly slipping his foot through the doorway before the door closed, he opened it just enough to slip inside and into the bathroom. He heard Robart tell the waiter to leave the champagne by the bed and tipped him as he left. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, and Andrew could hear what was going on in the room itself. He heard Robart say, "We'll leave the champagne to chill for a while, but in the meantime, let's get you out of that dress." Joanna only giggled. Leaping out of the bathroom, Andrew peered through the glass panel of the inner door and saw his wife and her boyfriend kissing. Then he unbuttoned her dress and slid it down to the floor where she stepped out of it. Andrew set his phone's camera to video and held it next to the glass security panel of the door, filming everything going on in the bedroom. 5 minutes later, having exhausted each other, they were both unclothed. He noticed the bed was already a mess and assumed it was a consequence of their previous day's sex. While Andrew watched, Robart turned Joanna around to face the bed and then had sex with her. The cheating couple were completely engrossed in their frenetic sex, so neither of them noticed when the door to the vestibule slowly opened to allow Andrew to enter the room that smelled of their activity. Andrew continued to videotape what was happening in front of him. He then tucked his phone into the breast pocket of his jacket, pointing the camera lens outward. Andrew was angry, oh so angry, but now his anger, at first red hot, had turned to icy hatred. "Is this a regular part of the course?" he bellowed. The traders jumped up as if they had been struck with a cattle prod. "Who are you, such as you are?" Robart growled, and then Joanna screamed, "Oh God, Andrew, no, 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 no!" Pushing Robart aside, Joanna rushed to grab a robe to cover herself. "I wouldn't be in a hurry to get dressed," Andrew said. "It's a bit late, and I've already seen everything you've got. When you get back to Brentwood, you'll find the rest of your things in the front garden, you traitor. Tomorrow I'm going to see a lawyer to start divorce proceedings as soon as possible, and then you can stay with your little man." "No, I don't want a divorce," she wailed. "You should have thought about that before you started having sex with your lover," he replied. "Why did you do that, Joanna? I thought we were good together." "He was good to me," she said. "I wanted to advance my career. He promised me a promotion, and when the senior partner retires at the end of the year, he promised to make me junior partner. I deserved that chance." "No, you haven't. If he does fulfill his promises, which I highly doubt, then you will buy your promotion with your cheating. Selling yourself makes you a cheater, and from what I've just seen, you've proven yourself quite fit for such a career." Andrew noticed that Robart headed for the room phone, probably to alert security. "Leave that phone where it is," Andrew said. "I'm not done with you yet." Turning to Joanna, Andrew asked her, "How long has this been going on between you two?" "Just today," she replied. "Wrong answer. I know it's been going on for months," he replied. "So you knew about us," she said. "Who told you?" "It doesn't matter. What matters is that I know, and I caught you at it." "How many times did you have sex with him tonight?" he asked. "Only once," she replied. "Wrong answer again," he said. "I saw you come and meet him. You've been sleeping with him all day and have been for weeks. The last was an assumption on his part." And then the asshole spoke. Reaching up to his full height, he said, "You can't prove anything. You can't get a divorce. You have no proof, only rumors. You can't do anything. You've lost, so get out before I call hotel security." Stephen Robart was a dapper fellow, and hubby knew it wouldn't be difficult to restrain him. "You won't have time to kick anyone out before I'm done with you," Andrew said. "Sit on that bed and don't move or I'll break your neck." "This was all a mistake," Joanna said. "I made a mistake and let him bring me here. I didn't want to come." "Oh, no, of course not. I realized how much you didn't want to come when you started kissing him on the hotel steps when you arrived. And kissing and fondling him in the bar downstairs." "If you were here when I arrived," Joanna said, "why didn't you stop me then?" "I saw you on TV," he replied. "You must have noticed the TV interview on the steps of the hotel. You two were in the shot. The whole world and his brothers saw you meet." Out of the corner of his eye, Andrew noticed Robart slowly reaching for the room phone. "I told you to sit still, you asshole. One more move and I'll beat the trash out of you." "Don't touch him," Joanna said. "Your life will be ruined if he sues you or the police get involved." "Why should I care?" Andrew said. "You two have already ruined everything. Now the next question is, why?" "I don't know," she said. "He was really nice to me. He made me feel good, and he said he would promote me. I didn't want to hurt you, but I wanted more than you could give me. So when I divorce you, you'll leave with him, right?" "No, I don't want a divorce. I just wanted to have some fun and improve my career chances, and Stephen is married anyway. Look, we can get over this. I'll get dressed and we can leave and go home together. It's no big deal. We can work it out." "And how many times have you even had sex with him?" Andrew asked. She didn't answer. "How many times?" he repeated. "Just a couple times," she said. "Just a couple times. You've been in this room since early evening. The bed is trashed. The room reeks of sex, but you've only had it a couple times. You've been here for months, but you've still only had sex a couple times. Wrong answer again. So how many times have you had sex with him? If you get it wrong again, I'll beat the truth out of him." "No, you don't have to beat it out of him." "Okay, we've done it a few times before today and 3 or 4 times this afternoon." "You stupid cheater," he said quietly. "I was willing to give you another chance if it was just once or even twice, but now there's no chance." Robart spoke again. "Like I said, you don't have any evidence to file for divorce. Besides having a mouthy tongue, you're also not very bright," Andrew grumbled, pointing to the phone still in his breast pocket with the camera lens pointing outward. "I have as much photo, video, and audio evidence as I need. You're both going to be toast." "Give me the phone," Robart shouted, getting out of bed and rushing to the phone. Andrew had been waiting for this opportunity, and he swung his right fist right into the center of Robart's face. He heard a crack as his nose was broken and blood rushed from his chest as he collapsed to the floor. "I'm going to divorce that cheating bitch," Andrew growled. "I have enough photographic and verbal evidence to back up my actions, and I'm going to sue you for seduction. I'm going to sue your company for allowing a partner to use a junior employee on company property, and I'm going to get you both fired." Turning to Joanna, he repeated his earlier words. "Don't you dare go home. They won't let you in. Your things will end up in the garbage can or in the front garden if the garbage men haven't already removed them before you get here. But first of all, I'll tell the asshole's wife what he's been up to and offer to share my evidence with her. I bet her daddy will be very pleased that he's cheating on her. I guess one way or another, neither of you will have a job for long. I hope you don't have a very good life." With those words, he turned on his heel and left the room, leaving the hotel and heading home. His whole life had been turned upside down in less than 12 hours. The divorce went through without too many complications. The finances were pretty straightforward. There were no children, and they were renting a house. They had little in savings, and since Andrew was the primary earner, what money they had was split 60-40 in Andrew's favor. The lease on the house was in Andrew's name, and he continued to live there. Both cheating spouses were terminated from their jobs. Robart's wife successfully sued him for divorce, and he himself was taken out on financial matters. The wife's father, respected in his business and wider circles, let his acquaintances know what kind of man his former son-in-law was, with the result that he was unable to find suitable employment in London and had to move north to find work. Joanna arrived at the house in Brentwood a couple of days after the altercation at the hotel with her friend and the van to collect her belongings. Too bad it had rained heavily after Andrew had dumped it all out in the garden. He never saw her again, but heard that she had moved into an apartment in London's East End. After the divorce, Andrew played the field for a while. A few months later, he met a pretty elementary school teacher, and now, a year later, it looks like they are about to become permanent. The end! Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.